Hello. Today I want to talk about your right to choose. So when we're going for an autism or ADHD diagnosis and with the long waits, we actually have a right to choose where we get our service. Now, I may sound as though I know what I'm talking about, but I was asked this question yesterday and I didn't really know. I've had the information for some time, but didn't take the necessary steps to read it and understand it. So, having had the question directly put to me yesterday and I couldn't answer properly, I thought I would take that cue to do my research. So, I've done my research, and as normal, I shall share the screen to go through what it is that I have found. And I've done sort of an easy read version and then gone into a little bit more detail from there as well. So very, very simplistically to begin with, your right to choose. If you think you or your child might have autism or ADHD, you can ask for an assessment to check. So what is an assessment? The assessment is when professionals look at how you think, feel, and behave to see if you have autism or ADHD. This can help you get the right support. So that's basically simplistic of why you would have an assessment. Who can help you with regards to the assessment is your doctor, your school, or a support worker. In Lincolnshire, it's basically, if you want an assessment, you have to go through the school. You can, in certain circumstances, and it has got to be certain circumstances, use the doctor. But 9 times out of 10 for this, it is the school. Your GP can refer for an assessment. That is in other parts of the country. There are certain GPs that can do that. Can I choose where to go? So the answer is yes, it's simplistic. In the UK, under the NHS right to choose rules, you can ask for an assessment at a clinic or service that fits your needs. This means you can pick a service outside of your local area, but the service must be approved by the NHS. So how do you use your right to choose? So you go to your GP and tell them that you want to use your right to choose. Ask for a full list of clinics that can do the assessments because they have to be NHS approved. So you have to ask for the list of clinics that qualify for the scheme. What if you have to wait? Some clinics have long waiting lists. They do because this is a service that is in demand, but they're not as long as the local authorities. So pick a clinic and let your GP know. What if you have to wait? Some clinics have long waiting lists. Use your right to choose might help you find the service for shorter. So it might be that you go further afield, depending how quickly you want that. I do know families that have gone even to London to get their diagnosis. What if my GP says no? You can ask them to explain why they've said no. And if you need help, you can talk to PALS, the Patient Advice and Liaison Service, or go to an advocacy service. As you'll see later on, sometimes doctors don't always know, but I will come back to that. And remember, you have the right to ask for help and choose a service that is right for you. Okay, so that's very simplistic on your right to choose. How to use your right to choose. If you want to use your right to choose for an autism ADHD assessment, here's the steps you should follow. Talk to your GP. Go to your GP first. Tell them, book an appointment. Explain that you want an assessment for autism or ADHD, and tell your GP that you would like to use your right to choose. We're being very, very clear with the GP what it is we want to do. Ask the GP for a list of approved services. Your GP has access to information about approved NHS services. Ask them to give you a list of clinics or providers that can carry out the assessment. Research the options. Once you've got the list, you can look at the providers to see which one suits your needs best. Consider factors like waiting times, location, or reviews. Some providers specialize in certain age groups, i.e. adults, children. Inform your GP of your choice. Once you've chosen a provider, let your GP know. Your GP will need to send a referral to the service you have chosen. You wait for confirmation. After the referral is sent, the clinic will contact you with the next steps. You might receive forms or questionnaires to complete before the assessment. So help in finding approved services. If the GP isn't sure or if you want to do your own research, here's how you can find approved providers. Use the NHS website. As you can see here, it's highlighted. Just go on there, click it, and it'll take you to the providers that are there. Look for services that specifically mention being part of the Right to Choose scheme. Contact support organisations, charities and advocacy groups like the National Autistic Society or ADHD UK can provide guidance on available services. They may also have directories of approved services. Speak to PALS, the Patient Advice and Liaison Service. They can help you to understand the rights and find a service as well. So use PALS. It's not just for complaints, it's there for help and advice at the same time. Private options funded by the NHS. So some private clinics accept NHS referrals under the Right to Choose scheme. Examples include Psychiatry UK for ADHD assessments. So you get Psychiatry UK, you get the Dr. J Part and colleagues, and you've got Autism 360 or ADHD 360. What if you face challenges? If your GP says no or is unfamiliar with Right to Choose, ask them to check the guidelines. Sometimes GPs need reminders that Right to Choose is a legal option. And that's important to know. It is a legal option that you have. Contact PALS. They can mediate between you and the GP. And use an advocacy service. Organizations like HealthWatch can help advocate on your behalf as well. A very, very good service, HealthWatch. How can you utilize your right to choose for an autism and ADHD assessment in Lincolnshire, along with a template to a request referral from your GP? So approved services, accepting the right to choose. And what we've done here is we've put together a list of services that you could look at. Do click on them because some of the reviews are quite disturbing and some of them are very, very good. So this is where you do your research and just go through these to see if they are, say, Dr. J's there, ADHD UK, etc. And then I will have the letter that you need. I'll put this in the resources area. And if you do want to use it, use this letter. You do have to do a little bit of work on it. As I say, it's a template, and then you have to put other little bits in. But it tells you what to do on there and which is best for you. So it is fairly simple. I was aware of this, but I hadn't really looked into it. And I think it is a really good way, particularly if we are coming up against a brick wall at schools or other people are just not believing. Go to your GP. They can't say, well, we can't refer. They can't refer to the local authorities for the assessment, but they can do under the legal right of the right to choose. So do look into it. It is something that is going to be a bit of a game changer for us. Yeah, it may make waiting times that little bit longer because if everybody starts to jump on this, the demand is going to be there. However, it's still going to be a lot shorter than the waiting lists that we are currently going through at the moment in the majority of places throughout the country. So I hope this has been helpful. Do look to utilize it, and I'll see you on the next video, I'm sure. So I'm going to stop sharing, say thank you very much, and see you all again soon. Bye bye.